Hey, howdy, y'all. MrTaupeTO back again with another review of the week for Final Fantasy XIV online. This is unfortunately another re-upload situation. For some reason, my recording software did not record the audio. That's tragic, but fine. I can deal with it. But going into this week, essentially, I've been pushing the MSQ for Heavensward only so much as I can get it to unlock different zones for me to do other content in. I've maxed out my gatherer for mining and or no, I think I've got a few more levels left on botany, but that should be, or maybe one level left. That should be done rather quickly. Um, and there are places that those job quests require me to go that I cannot get to yet. So I'm pushing through the MSQ in order to just get those places unlocked. Um, Big thing that I have been running into though is the Aether currents or whatever they're called, so you can unlock flying in those zones. That's interesting. I also noticed some of the sightseeing orbs or whatever locations that you need to be in. Run into a few of those, and that's cool too. But for the most part, the MSQ is just like at the in between patches of A Realm Reborn. I have way gone past the level on that. I've maxed out my Arcanist class, so I'm level 60. There isn't a creature I've run into yet that's above level 56, and I'm just wandering through zones with no fear, willy-nilly, doing whatever it is, and then normally that would be great, but when you're doing an MSQ tied to level and tied to additional content, and unfortunately tied to the ability to fly in a zone, it becomes really, really dull for me in order to, I need a new escape button. I am clicking through this content post haste because I cannot deal with this story. It's continuing the trend that A Realm Reborn had of everybody knows who I am. I'm a very important person in the realm. I've saved nations. I've saved royalty. I've saved whoever. I've fought primals. I've defeated things that people have been looking at and can't understand how I did it. Even dragons recognize that I have the ability to do something they weren't able to do. And yet, when I get to a cutscene, nobody talks to me at all. And it's getting really frustrating at this point because I don't understand. I don't understand why everybody is trying to do this grandiose story all around you. Now, granted, video games used to be nothing but read massive text blurbs back and forth, yada, yada, yada. I got it. But the fact that there are voice actors for all of this is telling me that they just didn't want to spend the money to do the story where you are important at all. And that's fine. I just can't conceive of anybody doing this in the modern day where the main character just doesn't talk anymore. I know Final Fantasy is able to get float past this because this is a game from 2010, 2012, no problem. And of course, all the Final Fantasy games before that, before voice acting became a thing, no problem. I mean, heck, I still love Tactics. I'll read through it all day. But here's the thing. Since then, I've played Mass Effect. I've played God of War. I've played other games where I am out there just crushing all the content. And when the cutscene comes around, it may not be my voice, but it is the voice of my character, at least saying something and not just and doing a weird smile every once in a while. Nobody's talking to me, and that's really starting to get annoying. But outside of that, everything else in the game I am thoroughly enjoying. I'm loving the crafting. the gathering. Most of my crafting jobs, I've gotten up to like 40, between 40 and 50 now. Doing all of those job quests ate up a lot of my week this week. Um, I think my lowest one is 37, but that's leather working. And until now, I didn't really need a leather worker. But now that I've got my machinist up in like the early 40s, mid 40s, I'm going to be using that quite a bit. And whichever the blacksmithing or armor, most likely blacksmithing, whichever makes the guns, I'm going to learn every one of those recipes because I'm having a blast with the machinist. No pun intended. The movement, the amount of DPS, the lack of hard casting, even the combos are very easy. I think there's one where it has to be on overload or overheat, and then you just blast away at this thing as fast as you can within 8 seconds. Yeah, I'm loving the mess out of that right now, especially when compared to like the Summoner. I thought Summoner would be it, but I was under the impression that it was a pet class, which it is, but it's not a pet class like in any other MMO I've ever played where you literally send your pet to attack or block or defend or whatever. I guess they try to make up for that with the companion Chocobo, but now I'm really realizing that I got kind of screwed on that because I made my companion a tank. Fine for what the Summoner is doing. He needs somebody to tank because he's throwing a heck of a lot of aggro out there. But then for Scholar, I don't really need a tank so much because I can heal myself. I need more of a DPS thing. And then when I'm playing now my Machinist as a DPS, I don't really need a tank. I just need somebody to help me burn down the target. So I really wish there was a way to redo the stats on your Chocobo companion, but I'll live with it and just have to deal with it. I also tried Dark Knight for about 10 good minutes this week. I mean, tanking just is not my bag. There's no other way to say that. It's not for me. It's not for any of my muscle memory. It's not for anything that I've been doing for the last 40 years in gaming. Tank, I don't understand. I bless you guys. You guys have a vital role to play, but I don't understand how you guys keep track of who's got aggro, how much aggro do you have, how many targets do you have the aggro of, who's crushing the healer at the moment, and dancing around all the mechanics. But I guess you just got to stay in front and hopefully interrupt and all that. Again, I'm not going to sit here like I know the role intensely, and I'll give you guys all the propers because my Dark Knight came with 30 levels worth of abilities and a hotbar, and I had zero concept of even how to tank. Tank 101 would have been far too advanced for my level of skill. I would have needed, red tank, blue tank, green tank, yellow tank. I would have needed some preschool level intro into tanking. So getting thrown into the fire of trying to run a dungeon, hold the aggro, I mean, we made it through. But it wasn't because of me. I was not vitally important to anything going on in that space. Yeah, I can't do it. I'm not even going to do anything where it's remotely looking like tanking is what I'm doing. That's way too much for me. That's madness on multiple levels there. But hey, I mean, the class is available. That's fine. I'm really looking forward to now unlocking like the samurai, or honestly getting my rogue leveled up so I can select ninja and see what that's all about. Get more DPS, more melee DPS, because yeah, I've got the whole range DPS thing pretty good to go. I haven't made an archer yet, but I know how to. I at least understand the concept of bad guys over there. I'm gonna be over here in the rear with the gear, lobbing, indirect fire in his general direction. I can do that. Healing, I've come to I've come to enjoy healing in this game, particularly as a shielding healer. The Scholar is great for that. I can still do my DPS. I can still go through my rotations. But really, all I have to do is keep an eye on the tank, kind of hang, I don't know, 3 to 5 steps away from them so I don't get caught up in a tank buster, and then just let my fairy do all the healing while I do some damage. Loving that. Speaking of which, I've got a Conjurer that's getting close to level 30, so I guess White Mage will unlock for me soon. But for me, that's pretty much been my week. I've been running the leaves all over the place, wherever I happen to be with whatever character that I have. I've been running Fates like it's going out of style. Anything I can do to kind of get more XP for my characters as I'm going through the jobs is fine. It just I don't know what New Game Plus is. Maybe that's where I can get even more XP faster as a different class and see how that works. Maybe I could try that out. I don't know. If you know, please let me know before I go ahead and fall down that rabbit hole. But outside of the MSQ, everything else is incredibly fun. It's to the point where now, as soon as I wake up, I'm like, how much time do I have before I have to do something serious to log into the game? Did that this morning. Did that actually twice today already. And I really, really want to go ahead and get back into it because it is so awesome. And if it weren't for the MSQ, I would be highly recommending this game to any and everybody who I came in contact with. It's almost like when you're a fan of a TV show and you know the first season is jacked up and it's really confusing, and you say, oh, you got to get past the first season. Well, that's what people did to me when it came to Final Fantasy XIV. And I'm not saying that those people are wrong. They're good people. The community is full of good people. But my goodness, they were wrong on this. This is not the story for me. Maybe it's for a younger person. Maybe it's for somebody who's just like that dedicated to 14, or maybe somebody who suffered through the 1.0 version, and they're just still here out of, what I'm calling sunken cost fallacy. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Maybe there are other expansions where your character becomes a greater part of the focus, but for me right now, it's not. And again, I hit the escape key as fast as possible, and it says when it says this cutscene can't be skipped, I'm off. I'm going to get something to snack on, something to eat. I'll let you do whatever you do for the next 5 minutes because none of it is important. I'm not gaining any abilities. I'm not gaining any unlocks or anything else that is happening. Nothing is vital to the story to me at this moment in those cutscenes. So there's no reason for me to be sitting through them. And actually, I looked at it the other day for this particular portion of Heavensward. I believe I've got another 30 or some odd main quests. Let's see. Yeah, I just got to like wherever the Moogles are, whatever they're doing. Yeah, so that's supposed to be level 52 or 54 to 55 content, which is again just giving me a bunch of gear for one class, which is cute, but I need gear for a lot of classes right now. And the only thing that is getting unlocked in any of this is different dungeons that I didn't plan on running because I'm maxed out on my main right now. I don't need it for experience. I don't need it for gear. I don't need it for anything in particular. And I think that's the most maddening part of going through the MSQ right now. In my gathering and crafting, at least I'm able to pass that down to other jobs that I'm doing or classes that I have. I can give that gear to my retainers. I can give stuff that I've out leveled, or I can make stuff for what I'm about to go do right now. None of that is happening on the main quest line. It's literally me just upgrading gear to certain item level. I don't even know what. And it makes no sense. Oh yeah, I got another. Holy crap! Another 48 quests before I get to the end of Heavensward just through the MSQ. Oh boy. And then I imagine there's some post MSQ or post Heavensward patches. If I'm looking at this right. Holy cow! Wow, that is depressing. Yeah, I could have gone a whole lot longer not knowing that. Oh Lord. Okay, so there are patches for level 60 content. So I'm going to be going through the entire 3.1 or 3.x series of quests, gaining no experience. 44 addition. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, so I'm still at 80 quests to get to more content for my main character. I'll see how that goes, and I'll have to reflect. Thankfully, I've got plenty of time in between now and when my sub is up, and I don't have to worry about trying to push a deadline. I can perhaps slow the pace down, do something, spread it out a bit. And speaking of which, you will not be seeing me play this on stream a lot because I am literally doing anything but the main story right now. I'm trying to get my machinist up to the point where I can run, level 50 dungeons. I'm trying to get my black mage figured out. I'm trying to get my astrologian locked down. I'm trying to get my conjurer up. I'm trying to get my ninja up. Anything but the stuff that is locked behind being on my main character is what I'm going to be doing. And I don't know if you guys want to see me doing all that. I'd rather get to the point where I can run dungeons with some other characters and do that than to subject you guys to running through basically a story that I'm skipping left, right, and center, or just grinding up levels as a lower level character. So I will be recording stuff, but I won't be like going live streaming with it. That's just a bridge too far to be doing all that. So yeah, I'll just be recording stuff on Twitch, I guess, or maybe through OBS and doing it that way and seeing what I can do. This main story. When does it get better? Because they told me it would get better now, but it's not getting better then. It hasn't gotten better yet. Again, dragons say, oh, you can't possibly do that. Then I come back and do that, and then they're not even talking to me. They're talking to the other girl that was there and said, oh, no, I can handle it. Or I've had less things to say than Tataru, the little Lalafell, I guess they're called, receptionist lady from the Scions. Never mind, I don't know where the Scions are. It's just me, Alphanat, and Tataru. I don't know. This story just, not it. Even the new Ishgardian place is, I guess it's great if you needed a place to stay as part of player housing, and I could see the benefits of that. But otherwise, no, thank you. Definitely not as interesting as Limsa or Ul'dah. I don't like Redania anyway, so it's basically 2 and 2 right now in terms of zones that I actually like being in, or at least nation states that I like being in. Yeah, funny, it's the places with Mughals that I don't want to be in a Final Fantasy game. That make me weird, but I've been doing it since Final Fantasy 1 back in the day, so it is what it is at this point. But yeah, everything else is fine. I just wish the MSQ was something different entirely. But that's it for my week. Hopefully this video takes. I'm not losing sincerity, but it is getting harder and harder to stay on target. But in the interim, while if it does take, go ahead and subscribe on Twitch and here on YouTube. Thumbs up in both places if you don't mind. Bits, donations. I have a Patreon page. I only accept dollar donations. There's no other tier levels for that. It's just to keep things going. But wherever you find me, if you don't mind, go ahead and do the things that you got to do on that platform. It's twitch.tv / MrTaupeTO, and of course youtube.com / MrTaupeTO, and patreon.com / MrTaupeTO. So wherever you find it, MrTaupeTO will be there. That'll be me. Hit me up. Let me know. Send me some DMs. Put in the comments. When does this story get good? Because I'm struggling to find any joy in it. And I know I've been skipping quite a bit, but I'll stop and watch, and it's still not interesting. So let me know when it got better for you, because it has not gotten better for me in Heavensward. And let me know your thoughts on me just buying a skip in between the end of Heavensward and whatever the expansion, I think it's Stormblood or whatever. If I could just buy something to get past all of those cutscenes, because not a big fan of it all. Everything else is amazing. The fighting, the combat, the dungeons, the community is awesome. Haven't tried PvP, but that's not my bag either, but I imagine it's okay. At least I hope there's not a lot of cutscenes in PvP. But yeah, the everything else is going great. Just fix your story, Final Fantasy. Fix your story. But that's enough for me right now. See you guys the next time I see you again. I may not be live streaming a lot, but I'll be recording and stuff. I'll probably post some of those videos here on the channel as well. But for now, MrTaupeTO, end of sketch.